dreams. We all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here tonight to share some laughs about my experiences as an earth driller. Now, you might be wondering, what's so funny about drilling into the ground? Well, let me tell you, when you're dealing with dirt, rocks, and the occasional surprise, humor is your best drilling buddy. I've dug myself into some hilarious situations, and I can't wait to take you on a journey through the world of earth drilling from my uniquely clumsy perspective. So get ready for a night of chuckles and anecdotes that will have you rolling on the ground, just not the kind I'm used to drilling into. But first, let me share a little joke my manager always tells me. Rusty, you're so bad at drilling, even a squirrel could dig a deeper hole while blindfolded. While working as an earth driller, this is what my manager said about my work. Rusty, I've seen garden gnomes with better drilling skills than you. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. You're so bad at earth drilling, I once saw a worm outdig you. So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. Even a mole with no sense of direction would outperform you in the ground. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, your idea of drilling precision is like a bull in a china shop. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. I asked for a hole, and you gave me a crater. Another day I went to work and my manager said, they say you can't dig yourself out of a hole, but you've proven that wrong by making even bigger ones. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. I've heard of a hole-in-one, but your record is more like a hole-in-50. You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. I once saw you try to drill a hole, and it looked like you were tap dancing on the ground. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. Your drilling technique is so bad, even termites have complained about your workmanship. Here's a good one. My head of department's take on my work was, if there were an award for the world's slowest driller, you'd be the undisputed champion. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. You're so bad at drilling, even a toddler with a plastic shovel could do a better job. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. I asked for precision drilling, not a game of hide and seek with the earth. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. Even moles have started charging you rent for the holes you've made in their tunnels. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, your drilling pace is like watching paint dry in slow motion. My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, you're like a human jackhammer, except you shake everything but the ground. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. I've seen glaciers move faster than your drilling progress. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings. Your drilling skills are so bad that even a compass can't find its way after you're done. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. You've turned drilling into an art form, the art of making a mess. Just this Wednesday my colleagues said this about me. Even ants have started forming picket lines to protest your drilling inefficiency. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. If you were any slower, you'd be drilling in reverse. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. Your drilling technique is like trying to cut a cake with a chainsaw. Last week, my controller threw this curved ball. I asked for a hole, and you gave me a Swiss cheese-inspired masterpiece. While working some extra hours, my team said this. Even a blindfolded mole could drill more accurately than you. I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. You're the only earth driller I know who can turn a job into a disaster movie set. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. They say practice makes perfect, but your drilling hasn't improved since day one. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, you're the reason they had to invent safety cones around your drilling site. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? Even earthworms are complaining about the mess you leave behind. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings? Your drilling precision is like trying to thread a needle with a sledgehammer. Here's a good one. My head of department's take on my work was, I've heard that earthquakes have less impact on the ground than your drilling. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. You've made drilling look like a Celtic modern dance routine. So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. I asked for a hole, and you delivered a bottomless pit. You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. Your drilling speed is like a sloth on a coffee break. So, then I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, "You're so bad at drilling, you've given groundhogs a run for their money." It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. I've seen grass grow faster than you can drill. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, "Your drilling technique is so unique, it should be studied by archaeologists." So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. You've turned drilling into an interpretive dance. No one knows what you're trying to convey. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. Even the rocks are begging for mercy from your drilling attempts. Just this Wednesday, my colleagues said this about me. Your drilling is like trying to catch smoke with a fishing net. Impossible. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. You're the reason we have the saying, slow and steady loses the race. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. If drilling were a sport, you'd be the reigning champion of oops, I missed the target again. One day, this is what my supervisor said about my work. Even the earthworms are taking bets on whether you'll ever hit your mark. My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, "Your drilling precision is so legendary that considering naming a new geological era after you." Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. You're the only earth driller who turns every project into an archaeological dig. Last week, my controller threw this curved ball. If drilling were an Olympic sport, your scorecard would read "did not finish" every time. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. I've heard that the ground cries tears of joy when you're finally done drilling. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, you're like a magician. The ground swallows your drill, and it never returns. So, my team leader came up with this singer about my work. They say the road to success is under construction, but with your drilling, it's more like under destruction. We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. Even the rocks are writing Yelp reviews about your drilling and they're not positive. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. Your drilling is like trying to write your name with your non-dominant hand. It's all over the place. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. If drilling were a game of darts, you'd be throwing in the opposite direction. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. Your drilling technique is so bad, even the earth is trying to escape from you. Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. You've got the uncanny ability to hit everything except your target. Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. I asked for precision drilling, not a modern art installation. While working some extra hours, my team said this. Even termites have formed a union to demand better working conditions because of your drilling. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, your drilling pace is like a snail on vacation, slow and leisurely. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. You're so bad at drilling, even your shadow refuses to follow your lead. You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. If drilling were a dance, you'd be the star of the drill and shuffle routine. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. Your drilling is like trying to play chess with a deck of cards. It just doesn't make sense. You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. They said practice makes perfect, but in your case, it just makes for a bigger mess. I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. Your drilling is so erratic, it's like you're chasing after a hyperactive squirrel. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a blast tonight sharing some laughs about my adventures as an earth driller. Remember, even when life feels like it's drilling holes in your plans, there's always room for humor to fill in the gaps. I've learned that laughter can be the best tool in the toolbox, even when dealing with stubborn rocks and unexpected surprises. Before I go, my manager wanted to remind you all that when it comes to drilling, Rusty's motto is, why aim for precision when you can create modern art underground? Thank you, and good night, folks. Thank you for being here and have a good day. See you on the next one.
We all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything?
Hey, I may be the worst at my job, but at least I am entertaining. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your manager is saying about your work. And if you didn't enjoy this show, well, I promise I'll try even harder to disappoint you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay employed and keep smiling.